talent from around the world with your host, Andrew Hamblin. Hello and welcome to Talent from Around the World, where I, Andrew Hamblin, interview all sorts of talented people from across the globe. And my special guest for tonight's show is...
Oh, is that my cue?
Yeah, that was your cue, yeah.
I'm sorry. Hello everyone. I'm Liaserenityrose. And I am a graphic designer for pretty much Sonic Revolution. And being a graphic designer is a very interesting endeavor to do because I get to be so creative on the posts with some great creative direction. Eggman took over the Sonic Revolution's social media accounts.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's a very interesting theme and aesthetic, and I got like great creative direction and being able to design the posts, specifically to that theme with some creative story direction has been such a blast.
Well, thank you for joining me on this interview.
Oh, of course.
So, I guess here's my first question. It's obviously connected to social media. What's the most challenging thing with social media for Revo?
I would say the most challenging thing, when it comes to creating the post for Revo is I have to be sure it stays within the Sonic brand, since this is a Sonic fan convention. And and this year was extremely for this year's theme, it was a whole lot different. So the challenge in that is being able to put the aesthetic story immersion of Eggman Revolution, and and it makes it a lot easier when it comes to designing it with actual creative direction of someone who's supervising me. So I would say that's the most challenging part because I have to design the post now to fit more of the Eggman aesthetic. And as we all know, Dr. Eggman's aesthetic is like robots, machinery, very different from like Sonic's characters, like charisma and vibe. So yeah, that's the most challenging thing, especially for the endeavor for this year's theme, because it is the 10th anniversary of the Sonic Revolution event this year.
Ooh.
So that's why this theme it was very challenging in general.
Oh wow, 10 years. Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So, do you plan on pursuing social media as like a full-time career in the future?
That is a very great question. I would say it's more like when it comes to doing social media, I feel like social media and graphic design are like hand in hand. So that's why I wanted to do a mix of that, do what I love, but at the same time help like an organization increase their social media presence. So I would say yes, as long as it's like mixed with like graphic design.
Yeah, because you also like you do artwork as well. Um, has there ever been like any art that took a long time to draw?
Oh, yes, for sure. For sure. I would say the art piece that took a long time to draw was that specific Sonic and Amy with the two lover Cocos for that song cover for my YouTube channel. And that took about 2 days because of the background. I normally don't do backgrounds at all, but but for the but for to capture the vibe of the song, I want to be sure the background was authentic. So the characters took less than like 10 minutes to do because I had to decide what art style would I want to do. So that was pretty easy to figure out, but executing the background just took 2 days. So that's the long.
2 days. Oh wow.
Hmm.
Um, so how long have you been like been an artist? How long has it been?
Ooh, another great question. I would say I think ever since I was little, because I think my parents immediately saw potential in me becoming an artist at a very young age. Like I remember when I think it's because when I started playing video games, I got so inspired, by the vibrant colors, of like pixel games and everything. So
Yeah.
um, I think it started to become very more prominent when I played Kingdom Hearts. I wanted to draw human characters, so I actually drew to my very first attempt of drawing human characters. And of course it was pretty good at the time. So I would say like maybe when I was like about maybe like I think when I was like 5 or 6, I would say. Because I actually did some arts and crafts with my mom because she's a childcare provider, and she did a lot of arts and crafts. So I guess that's where the graphic design aspect came from. Because when you do arts and crafts, you have to lay out all of the whatever material you're using. So I would say like ever since I was like 5 or 6.
Oh wow. Early days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there like any favorite pieces that you have like drawn that stand out for you and you go, "Oh, I love this. This is one of my favorites."
Ooh, man, you are just asking such great questions, Andrew. Um, oh my gosh. There's just so many countless ones got to that I got to do, especially for specific song covers. I would say, not to be biased, I would say like the Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, the one where it's with the Quokka, I would say. And and it had like the characters that were there. Like Knuckles, Rouge, Shadow, Amy, Sonic, Tails, Blaze, SBO, and Vector. I would say I'm very proud of that one because that art piece actually got approved by Sonic Expo, and they actually printed it out and gave it out for sale, and a very very good friend of mine, MC Voices, actually told me he took a photo of it and sent it to me during Sonic Expo. And he said, "Hey, I was the one that bought your artwork."
Hey.
So, so I am pretty proud. I would say that's a art piece I'm very proud of because it's the very first time an art piece of mine got featured at a Sonic fan convention. So I would say that one.
Oh, nice. That makes me think of a new question actually. Would you love to one day have your own table and sell prints of your artwork?
Ooh, that is a tough question. Like, on one hand, I would say yes, but at the same time, since I'm like a Sonic Revolution staff member, that would be very hard to manage. As as I am a PR and social media manager for Sonic Revolution, it would be hard to manage because I also, during the in-person, I am one of the two designated photographers where I do photography as well. And so if you ever check the Sonic Revolution website with the photo galleries, I actually took photos and they actually posted on their website. So I do help out with event photography for the event.
Oh wow. So you're very busy.
Yes, like as I said, it would be nice, but at the same time, it would be hard to manage because
Yeah.
it would just be hard to manage. If I wasn't a Rebel staff member, then maybe, but since I am, it's pretty hard to manage.
That comes to my last question of this first batch of questions. Are there any artists that inspire you?
Ooh, another great question. I would say, are you talking about like any other Sonic fan artists in specific, or I
Uh, it could anyone really. It could be anybody. It could be comic artists. It could be Sonic artists online. Anybody really.
ah, okay. I would say I am I would say some of my favorite Sonic artists that inspire me. I would say would be like Recchi. I'm not sure if you've heard of Recchi. They do like these very phenomenal fan comic covers. Recchi is definitely one. And I would also say Mimi Pion. I love her stuff as well. She was also a huge inspiration to me. Trying to think who else. Because there's just so many great Sonic fan artists out there.
Oh yeah.
It's just so hard to choose. I would say another one would be like Gab Sam and as well as Starly, aka Sony. So I would say they are my huge inspirations.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So from here, I let you, the guest, you get to pick songs. Is there any song you would like to play? It could be from anything. It could be from Sonic. It could be from a film. Any songs you would like to play?
Ooh, that is a girl. Let's see. I would say to get into which I would say this would be very fitting. I would say one of the Kingdom Hearts theme songs would be great.
Oh, cool. So yeah, so Simple and Clean. Would you like that? Or
Y- Yeah, simple
yeah,
and clean.
here it is. Simple and Clean. Big song, brilliant song, very good song. Yes. So welcome back, everyone. We're going to continue with some more questions. And this time it's going to be Sonic themed. So here we go. My first question is: when did you start getting into Sonic?
I would say when I started getting into Sonic because of the Sonic X anime, I had no prior knowledge that Sonic was made in the 90s at all. I only knew about it because I watched a lot of 4Kids dubs of the anime and TV cartoon shows. So I was like, this is very colorful characters. So as when one day Sonic X was on and I just started watching it and I was just intrigued. I'm like, who's this talking blue hedgehog? So I just started watching it, and the show really introduced me to how the characters are, where it's like, oh, Sonic is like the very, very cocky character who's the cool dude. And then I just see, okay, so since Knuckles is red, he's hot-tempered. So it gave me those perceptions of the characters that way. And I would say because of the Sonic X anime, it got me into the Sonic franchise.
Oh, nice. Sonic X is a good start.
I I would say so when it comes to introducing the characters.
Yeah.
Because I just learned later on there were 90 Sonic cartoons that didn't have like Amy or Cream or Shadow or Rouge
Oh, yeah.
or anything. So it was a great entry point where I understood the characters' dynamics right away because of that show. So it got me more intrigued. Okay, so they actually have games. So it was kind of like my entryway into the games.
Nice. So, who is your favorite character and why?
What a great question. I would say my favorite character of all time, I have told Aaron Weber this. It's Amy Rose
Hey.
because she reminds me so much of myself, especially back then when the way she was portrayed back then, like as the crazy fan that chases Sonic. But I'm not like that. I'm more like I may look sweet and innocent, but then the thorns come out. And so I kind of relate to Amy in that way. But then the huge shift in Amy's character in Boom, I related to her more when they introduced the Boom franchise, and I got to do that. And I can see how much more mature she is, and she's kind of the type that keeps everyone in line, especially, you know, and her character has evolved, and I just relate to her more and more now because of it.
Mm. So, if you could swap bodies with any character in the series, just for a day, who would it be and why?
Ooh, a great question. I would say if I were to swap bodies with another character for a day, I would say Sonic because he has great metabolism and I would love to have his metabolism and just run and lose all the weight. Like
Huh.
like you gotta admit he has a great metabolism. So like if you can burn all of that like of what you eat, you wouldn't really have to worry about weight, you know?
That is true, yeah. He eats so many chili dogs and he's still like very thin.
Yeah. And I would say because like Sonic, I would say Sonic, swapping with Sonic would be great because of like and now I can relive my dream of being Shaggy and Scooby without weight gain.
Yeah. So here's another fun question. Who's the coolest? Sonic or Shadow?
Oh, that's an easy one. I would say Sonic. He sounds
Hey.
he sounds just like he sounds like a really great dude to hang out with if he were real, you know? If it's like Shadow, it's kind of like I don't know if I can make conversation with the guy, you know? You know, if you think realistically, like Sonic could be all, yeah, I'll hang out with you. No big deal. With Shadow, like, you know, I don't know. I feel it would be hard to make conversation with Shadow because when you think from, even when you see Rouge trying to make conversation with Shadow, he's like, "Nope, I'm just business. No, no regular casual pleasantries or anything."
Yeah. Is there any Sonic character you wish to see in the games more often?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say, I would say, can I cheat on this one and say two characters?
Yeah, why not? Go for it.
I would say Silver and Blaze. They need more spotlight. Like we usually get like the trio or quartet, since now they are including Amy in, at least. But I feel Silver and Blaze have more stories to tell, you know. Like they have like Silver's from a future where he always has to go back in time to fix it. And we and his future keeps getting messed up because of specific events, I would say. And then with Blaze, I would love to know more about what she's been up to. So I would say those two.
Oh. So on the like when you do some the draw the characters, which character is fun to draw and who is the hardest?
Mm, that is another great question. Mm, I would say I would say the easiest would be Amy because her quills are not like, slick like Sonic's, like Sonic Shadow and Silver's. So I would say Amy is like the easiest out of all the characters. And the hardest has to be the robot characters. I don't draw the robot characters. They're just way too detailed and like if you want to draw the robot characters, you need to have the patience because they have a lot of parts that connect them. They have a lot of tubes or metal tubes or something, you know. So I would say the robot characters in general. Like I would say the easiest from the robot characters is Orbon and Cubot because they don't have as much, but like Metal and Omega are hard.
Oh yeah. Especially Omega. He's got so much like details.
Ooh.
Here's another fun question. If you could have dinner with any character, who would it be and why?
Ooh, another great question. You are hitting me with great questions, Andrew. Hmm. If I could have dinner with any Sonic character, who would it be? I would say probably. Hmm. I would love to see what it would be like if I actually had dinner with Tails, actually.
Ah,
Yeah. I think it would be an interesting dynamic to try because I know Tails is into mints. It's like, but I would love to know what type of food he would eat at a dinner.
yeah. And like what kind of like inventions can he make and stuff? Sounds like a fun choice. Here's another fun question. If you could voice a character in one of the games, who would you love to voice?
Mm. I'd say if I were to voice a character in one of the games, I would say Blaze. I actually did one time during one of my very good buddies, the ultimate voice actor, actually did playthrough of The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, that that game that came out on Steam last year on April Fools. Um, and I actually had the opportunity to voice Blaze in that. So I would say Blaze because I tend to have more of the professionalism while still trying to stay on track. So I actually lowered my voice to be more authoritative because that's how Blaze is as a character. So I actually took a crack at it and I surprised my other friends too. They were like, "Whoa, that was really good." I'm like, I just kind of took what from my own life experience to be authoritative and I kind of just lowered it so it would fit Blaze more. So I would say Blaze.
Here's another question. Would you consider the idea of drawing, designing your own Sonic comic?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say no, because doing comics takes more time because you have to be sure every panel is, correct, I would say. So I would say no because I can see how much effort the IDW team for Sonic has done for the comics, and I don't know if I would have the patience to do that. Especially when they're on a tight deadline, you know.
um, so the Sonic World Tour has been touring the world, and have you seen it?
Yes, I have. I actually, as soon as they announced the first two locations, I found out that the second location was in LA, and that's where I'm from. I'm literally from Cali, so I told my two friends about it, and they were up for it. So yeah, I did go. I did go to the Sonic Symphony World Tour in LA. It was, if I could sum it up in 5 words, I would say fantastic, amazing, magnificent, nostalgic, and cool.
Ah.
Yeah, I would sum it up in those 5 words. It's it was like an honor to just listen to all the nostalgic music from the Sonic franchise from the past and all the way to the present.
Oh yeah.
And what's really great about it is I actually did a Q&A with the producer of the Sonic Symphony, Shota Nakama, for my YouTube channel. So I actually got to learn some insights about how they do rehearsals and got to learn more about Shota Nakama.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was there any moment in the world tour that made you cry or get emotional or nostalgic? Like what moment was like, oh, I'm feeling it.
I would say when I don't know how often they change the songs, because I know some specific ones where they perform, they have changed a few of the songs, for their sets. But I would say where I got very emotional would be when they played Live and Learn.
Yeah.
Like you can never go wrong with that song. As soon as I heard it, I was like, I didn't scream because I didn't want to lose my voice or anything. So I just kept it within the range where I wouldn't lose my voice. So I would say, yeah, that was the most emotional. But I would say the funny one was I'm I'm not sure if you saw it, Andrew, but there was like this moment when they were playing one of the classic music and they timed it with the music where it was, I think it was like timing like the gameplay with the music. And I think that got a lot of the whole crowd like laughing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, is that Sonic 2, right? With the water rising and stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
The whole crowd was just laughing when we because it timed with the music so perfectly. I'm just like, like they timed this so perfectly and I loved it.
Yeah, it was a magical experience. I recommend everyone should go and see it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's uh, I know someone asked about if they are bringing Sonic Symphony to other countries because I know there are other Sonic fans that do want to experience the Sonic Symphony World Tour. And Shota is trying to make it happen. He has said in the Q&A I did with him that I do want to make it happen. Like he actually wants to bring it to Argentina, Chile, and Australia. So he is trying to work behind the scenes to get that to happen. So you never know.
Hey, yeah, you never know. So, how about another song? What song would you like to play?
Ooh, how about I'm trying to think, what am I in the mood for? Ooh, okay. How about I'll Be There For You, the Friends theme song by the Rembrandts?
Cool, yeah, we can do that. Here's the song. Our classic tune, that is. It takes me back to the good old days.
Yeah, no one told you that life was gonna be this way.
Yeah. Yes. So for my next question, you have a YouTube channel that covers all sorts of things like song covers with the Sonic characters. Where did this start and what gave you the idea?
What a great question. I would say it all started because I got to know a lot of the VA cast behind the scenes. And I found out that Dr. Kelp and A Blue Moon 88 actually did previous song covers together. And that kind of inspired the idea where, like, if I don't see any Sonic and Amy covers, I can actually ask the Rebel VAs casted as those characters. And like I said, luckily we got that to happen. And and I would say that's how it started. It was like getting inspiration from other Revo VAs.
Ah. So what is the most popular cover on your channel?
Oh, Andrew, you should know that one. That's an easy question. And for those who are listening, it is the Roses cover, which is the parody of the Peaches cover from the infamous Super Mario movie 2023.
Yeah. That was a fun cover.
I was not expecting it to blow up that fast. Like,
Mm,
but yeah, that cover was very popular, and
yeah.
people were so caught off guard because I think most people would see it as like, oh, if it was ever a parody, it should be Amy, right? But it's like, nope, it's a 180. It's actually Sonic singing it. And I find it very unique to have Sonic sing it because I haven't seen anyone else do it in Sonic. It's very rare.
That is true.
So,
Yeah, there's lots of people doing Shadow singing about Amy, but
so I would say that's what stood out because normally, of course, Sonic wouldn't be singing about Amy, but we actually took that shot and that got a lot of people like talking about it. And I think I remember it was actually featured on IMDb because of how much it blew up
yeah.
on my YouTube. So I was surprised by that. So I would say if if your work if if a cover gets known by IMDb, then you know you're doing something great.
That is so true. So here's another question. When you do these covers, do you ever run into any copyright issues?
I would say yes, but I would at the same time, as long as it's like not the original song, because usually the copyrights come from if it's like the original music but just instrumental. But if it's like someone else singing it, they YouTube usually allows it because it's a cover. So I would say if you ever run into something like that, but if it's someone else or if it's yourself singing, YouTube doesn't see that as an issue. They just kind of let you know that, hey, we found copyright content, and then it will say underneath, the owner allows you to use this content on YouTube. So it doesn't affect your channel. So I would say, yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Interesting.
hmm
Um, do you have any personal favorite covers that stand out for you?
Another great question. I would say the cover, other than the simple and clean, I would say the cover that really stood out to me was the Stronger Together cover from A Blue Moon 88 and Dr. Kelp as Blaze and Silver, because that song encapsulates Silver and Blaze's like partnership and relationship as friends. And Dr. Kelp and I had actually the same idea, and we both pulled A Blue Moon 88 at the same time. And she told me, Kelp told me the same thing. So we actually got to work on that. So I got to collab with them on that cover, and we actually scheduled it to publish on Silver's birthday, actually, to celebrate Silver and Blaze's like respective birthdays, since their
Oh.
birthdays are like one day apart, I think, because of the debut appearance. So we actually did that. And it's really cool because a lot of Miraculous fans have been taking notice of it.
Hmm.
Like I kept getting notifications, and it's like people from other countries are like, "Oh my gosh, Silver and Blaze are singing Stronger Together from the Miraculous movie." So it got Miraculous fans' attention, so, in that regard.
Here's another question. Have you ever sung before, and would you ever sing a cover one day yourself?
I have sung before. It was mostly, just me just having some fun. When I really get into a song, I do sing it at times. I think I would say the song I like singing the most would be the Japanese version of Simple and Clean, Hikari, because there's some different beats than from Simple and Clean. So like there's like a part in Simple and Clean when it's like when you walk away, it's like in Hikari, it's Tonadoki date. So it's like very different beats in the Japanese version of Simple and Clean, which is called Hikari. So I don't know if I am planning to ever do a song cover one day. I think it's more interesting if it's the Sonic character singing it, because like it has got it has got people's attention, I would say. Yeah.
Cool. So, you've interviewed many well known voice actors as well as people who work on the Sonic franchise. How do they go, and what challenges do you face in getting them on board?
I actually started it initially when I collabed with you, Andrew, and Doom the Meme Queen for the very first song cover for my YouTube channel. I decided if I reach a certain amount of subscribers, I'll do like Q&As. So when I did that initial Q&A with yourself, Andrew, and Doom the Meme Queen, it just started out as like it's just to celebrate, a subscriber milestone. But then it inspired me to actually start doing an actual live stream series Q&As. And I know in Sonic Revolution, the Rebel VAs do not really get to spotlight, we don't get to learn about them. So I wanted to give that chance to them, to give them the spotlight, and I can ask about their voice acting experiences. And it's been such a blast. And a lot of the Rebel VAs are like my friends. So I want to be able to help them become, known. So I wanted to do something like that. And I would say the challenges of getting them on board is just scheduling, because we do have lives, we do have lives in real life, and it is very difficult at times. But at the same time, I was able to make it happen. And as I said, like if it's like special guests like the one I've done with Shota Nakama and they're like very last minute, sometimes it ends up like that, where it's just last minute and people were unaware. So I think that's kind of one of the challenges if you get like special guests, you know. And kind of the same thing when I did with like Mike Pollock and Ryan Bartley, because since they're very busy with, with what they do as voice actors, I
Yeah.
had to accommodate to I had to accommodate to their schedule. So that's I would say that's the challenge.
Oh. Is there anyone in the like you would love to interview in the future?
Ooh, I have like a long list. I literally have like a whole Google Doc of who I would love to do Q&As with. Since I wanted to expand from just the Revo VAs, I do want to expand to like special guests, like professional voice actors who actually do as a living, as well as like content creators. I know one of them has to be Sonic Song 182 because I've watched her content since I was young. And other content creators, I would love to do one with Shadow759. I'm not sure if you've heard of them
Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
or
Yeah.
so that's like more on the content creator aspect. And hopefully one day I can do one with Belena because their stuff is very popular. But I think I'm in a pretty good place as of right now because the very first content creator group I actually did a Q&A was with Sonic Paradox. It was like several members of Sonic Paradox. So I
Hey.
so I got to do that with them. But if it's on like the special guests, ooh, I got a long list for you. I, but if I were to choose, I would like to pair them up if I could. Like, I would love to do one with like Ryan Drummond, Jason Griffith, Roger Craig Smith. I know I would love to do one with Colleen O'Shaughnessy and Davey Mitchell, I would say. I'm hoping I can make that happen because I do want to put them in pairs because I think it gives them an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Because when I was in the talks with Mike Pollock and Ryan Bartley, it made sense because they were the voices of Eggman and Sage. So so it just made perfect sense too.
Yeah. Is there any future projects you would love to do for your YouTube channel? Like, I don't know, maybe a Sonic and Amy reacts to random memes? Maybe?
Ooh. I actually do have a future project that's just been on the back burner because of how busy I am with Sonic Revolution as of right now. I would say it was, yeah, I am currently working with the Revo VAs for Tangle and Blaze, as well as our amazing friend Kevin on a Tangle and Blaze Tangled Fiery Shenanigans live stream series where it will feature Tangled Blaze getting into random shenanigans. And we have decided that it is going to connect with the Sonic Revolution character panels. So whatever happens, if they vaguely mention any funny shenanigans, we would mention it in the series. So it's like a way to connect to the Revel panels. Like you could say it's like a way to what the other characters are doing when they're not on panel, I would say.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
cool. That sounds very exciting.
Yeah, I got some great ideas. Every time I'm listening to a character panel, I'm taking notes.
So, I think it's time for another song. How would you like us to play one of the song covers, maybe?
Oh, sure. I would say since I'm in a more Sonic and Amy mood, I would say play a whole new world.
Oh, here it is. Ah, there you go. Very, very nice song cover. Very nice. So here's the last questions. How did you join Revo, and how long have you been with them?
I joined Revo. I joined the server, I believe it was like 2018 or 2017. But when I became a staff member I was actually interning at the time and I was suggesting all of this stuff to Kevin and he actually asked me personally in a DM, "Hey, I would love to bring you on as a Revo staff member. would you like to design all the promo images, social media posts in general? And I said, sure. So as a staff member, I've been with them. It's going to be 2 years that I've been with Revo.
Oh, wow, 2 years. Time has gone so fast.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most fun thing you get from hosting live panels?
Oh, I would say the most fun thing when it comes to hosting live panels is just seeing the audience reactions in the discussion chat. Those are always a blast. Like when I see, especially if it's character panels or story driven panels, I always love seeing the audience's reaction.
Do you have any favorite like quotes from the panels? Like any like quote that just stood out or stays in your brain where you're like, oh, I keep quoting this.
Oh, there's just so many great panel quotes. It's just so hard to choose. There's just like so many.
Yeah.
But I would say one that stood out to me, I think it was like the Sonic '06 panel. And then I think Sonic, Shadow, and Silver, I think they were talking about like Shadow being Mephiles' daddy or something. And then Sonic's like, it comes in three silver, you're next.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
I think that line stood out to me because I'm like, oh dear. It was like, are we going back into that Sonic is a flicky daddy thing? And then now we're going into Shadow being a daddy.
Yeah, for me, some quotes that stay in my brain is Knuckles saying, I plead the fifth.
I Yeah, I would say also it's like when Knuckles says, "How about that airline food?"
Yeah.
And I think the funny moment was I think an audience member tried to say it, and then Knuckles like, "That's my line." So
uh, that comes to my next question actually. So which Revo cast members make you laugh?
oh, that's an easy question. I would say Doom the Meme Queen, Josh Hodgson, Ably Moon 88, Diet Dr. Kelp. Hopefully, I'm not missing anyone. And I would say yourself, Andrew.
Oh. Oh, that's nice. What would you say is the most rewarding thing about being with Revo?
I would say it's just being able to see the countless smiles, people enjoying themselves, like, especially when we do cartoon nights every Friday. Every time we are improving the event for cartoon nights, people, it's because of that event we came up with so many memes, countless memes at that point. So I would say that's just seeing people's reactions and seeing their smiles.
So we've got time for one more question. I'm going to end it with a very fun question. If someone was going to make your life into an animated film, who would you have voice you in the film?
Ooh, that's a very interesting question. I would say it would have to be a Filipino actress because as as I'm Filipino and I don't know how I would feel if it's like an American portraying a Filipino. So
Yeah.
I would say probably Melissa Ricks, maybe. Yeah. I think we're like around the same age.
Well, that comes to the end of our show. Thank you for coming. It was great to have you on.
It was my pleasure.
So, what song would you like us to play out to? What song would you like to end this show?
I would say to go off of the pun of from Maui, I would say let's go with You're Welcome from Moana.
And here we go. Here's You're Welcome.